Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Star Trek, the original series deck building game. This kind of came out early deck building games. You can see a little bit of Ascension mixed with Dominion a little bit in here. And so let's talk about the theme really fast. So the theme doesn't really work with me for the game. The problem I'm going to have with it is it's very combat driven. I don't feel like Star Trek was very combat driven. You're going to have an aspect of the game where you're seeing all the characters from the show. They're using steals, which I like. I know a lot of people don't. And I think that works for me, the buying, the selling. But the rules become very convoluted, and people have had a lot of issues with the rules in this game because they're not super duper clear. And there's a lot going on for what should be a simple deck building game. You have the kind of the buying and the purchasing and the searching, and then you have the combat that's associated with. And really, the combat is what's forcing the game to go forward to its natural conclusion. So I don't feel like Star Trek, the original series. Now, if you like Star Trek, the original series, and you want a deck building game, this is probably your only option. All of the characters are, even down to the minimalist of characters are in this. And I think that you'll enjoy that. Now, the theme will be a little weird, how like Kirk is on one and Spock's on another ship, and you're battling it out, and there's Klingons, and it becomes a little bit odd about who you're picking up and what you're doing, and that aspect. The rules weren't super clear, and I feel like it's just kind of a mess in general. And I think that's why this game didn't click the way a lot of people did. Now, the next generation version that came out has a few more modes in it. I do like the cooperative mode of this series a little bit better than I do like the competitive mode. It kind of just makes more sense to me. But thematically, it was just not there, and that's the only reason why I would go back to this game would be the IP. It doesn't fit for us, so Purge. Here's Star Trek, the original series deck building game. There's a next generation. It's very, very similar. Open it up, you're going to get a rulebook, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes, and then you're going to get some dice in here. These will keep track of your hit points, etc. So you get 4 of these in the game. Then you're just going to get a bunch of cards. I'm not going to show you all of the cards, but you can see they get the black edges. There's some instructions in here. And these are kind of your starter cards here. They don't have any pictures of anybody on it, but you can see definitely that there's screenshots from the game. Now there's always 4 possible currencies. It's not really currencies, but skills that you have at the bottom. There may be some words. It's a tad small, but it does use screenshots from the game. So some people are going to like that. Some people are not. But it's a deck building game. So as you know, with most deck building games, you are just going to get a ton of cards, and there's all kinds of characters. King, a phaser, all kinds of stuff here. Energize. All kinds of stuff in here. And most of the characters you're going to know from the show are in here. Korax, Kyle, have you been waiting for Kyle to be in a game? Janice Rano. So, they went down to the medical tricorder. They were really kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. Gary Mitchell is in the game. Number 1, not to be confused with number 2. Tactical Scope. Yeah, is that your favorite character? Sarek. James T. Kirk, so etc. So that's kind of what you're looking at. A bunch of cards is what you're going to get, and a dice. So here's the rule book. It's been mangled by a lot of people. This rule book and the entire series has not been loved. You have a table of contents that are coming out. You're going to have the layout of the different cards kind of explained. Your player area, what it should look like, and then the starboard, how that's kind of set up, etc. And then how you build your space decks. There's a few different scenarios that are in this. And then you build your deck as you go through. You can see there's a lot of wasted space that's kind of in here. And then your basic setup in areas, and then how to take your turn. And really, this is really the game. It's just these couple pages, and most of this is eaten up by a picture. So very, very easy rule set. The rules do get in the way a little bit. This isn't the greatest rule book. Kind of tells you how to start the game, and you're drafting and exploring the deck. The battles, they're kind of crazy that they're in here in the glossary and the Q&A. It's okay. A lot of people have struggled with this rule book. It's not the clearest of thing. It's not super easy to kind of jump into. If you played other deck builders, I think that helps out a lot. But this is kind of what you're looking at. So each player is going to start out with a starship, and you'll have a set of starter cards. On a turn, you're going to shuffle these up, and you're going to draw 5 of these into your hand. Now, As with most deck builders, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to have a currency on here, and XP is what you're going to be using to purchase other cards. Some of these will let you do different things, like if you have a character in your bridge with a cost of 6, you may trash this card. If you do, you get +3. So what you'll be doing is you'll be constantly upgrading this starship to try to make it a little bit stronger as you're going through the missions. So during the game, you're going to have 9 cards set up, kind of Dominion style, except for there'll be a deck that you can add additional cards through. And on your turn, you'll be able to purchase these cards for XP. So for example, if I wanted to purchase a Spock, it would require me to pay 9 XP. He would go into my discard pile. Now, he would give me these at the bottom, +3 to speed, attack, diplomacy. But you may select a player, peek at that player's hand. You may have that player discard a character of your choice from their hand. If you do, you may apply that card's effect. So they're going to give you a little bit of powers. They'll have some scores at the bottom that will increase your deck and help it get better. Now, it isn't one of those games where you just want to get card after card after card. I believe that's the massive strategy. You want to get the right card. So a lot of times in a turn, you also have a search icon. So what you can do is you maybe don't want this guy. You can just discard him and you search and bring out a different card. And everybody will do that at least one time in your turn. As you're purchasing cards, you get 1 search for free, and additional cards may give you additional searches as you're going through, and a search is simply discard whatever card you know you don't want, or maybe would help somebody else, and bring out an additional card. Ah, there's Sulu. The last thing you can do is go through the star deck. So you'll be setting up a deck of cards at the beginning, and you'll be able to turn one of these over and kind of do what you want. Now, you're going to have victory points at the bottom of these cards, and you're playing to a 300 victory point. So you want to be able to accomplish the goals on this. So this one says, cannot be drawn by effects or goals. You have the 5+ attack and 5 XP. This one says, you need to have this order that you have to do. All players perform a battle. Discard 1 character from your hand or bridge, you gain +1. Your goal is 4+ in diplomacy and 5+ in XP. And you're just trying to accomplish these cards, like the missions that you would go on, and you would get the victory points. So here's what's worth 100. So Balance of Terror, you might want to go through that. So to explore, you can always take one off the top of the deck and try to accomplish it. You're going to be utilizing these dice to keep track of the hit points that you take on this. So at the end of your turn, you can always repair the bridge by spending XP to remove damage. So 1 XP would get rid of 1 damage that's put on your ship, and you can heal up to a maximum of what it is. In this case, you don't want your starship to be destroyed or blown up. Then, like most deck builders, you're going to discard all your cards that you've played, and you draw back up from your deck to another 5 cards. The next person will go. It's a completely competitive game. There isn't anything that's cooperative about it. There's a couple different missions you can go on, or scenarios, if you will, in the box. That's a general idea of what you're going to do. You're going to draw your 5 cards. You can spend the XP to buy cards. You can search if you want to get rid of a card and put something new out. You can explore from the spaceship deck or the space deck. And at the end, you can heal your bridge. That's kind of how a turn will go over and over and over again until somebody has met the prerequisite of victory points. Who should buy this game? Collectors of Star Trek stuff. I think this will be something that I don't think it's in print anymore. If you really wanted this would be something that you would go after. You want a convoluted deck building, a fighting game, this would be it. But the rule set isn't very good. The IP isn't shining through it, so Purge for us.